Marlin, Texas, the animal shelter of death, and now justice denied. We certainly saw this one coming today, Thursday, June 11, 2025. Former animal control officer Nicole had her day in court. But unlike the others connected to the Marlin Animal Shelter scandal, her hearing was held behind closed doors. No cameras, no public, no transparency. Of course, it all goes back to one horrific day back in January 2024. A man walked into the city shelter and straight into a nightmare. Dead dogs, at least one. Others barely alive, skin stretched tight over bones, no food, no water, and yet just feet away, piles of unopened dog food. What followed should have been a reckoning. Instead, it became a masterclass in evasion, excuses, and cover-up. We begin with District Attorney of Falls County, Jody Gilliam, who finally recused herself more than a year after the discovery. Could have, should have, called for an outside investigation. She didn't. And as we have said, too busy apparently. Police Chief James Hommel, Graham's boss, was seen that day cleaning up the shelter, tampering with what any reasonable person would call a crime scene, and yet no consequences, no question. Mayor Susan Byrd, who publicly claims to love dogs, crickets. Robert Thomas, the city's former code enforcer, only entered the public spotlight much later, but like the rest, his role has been muddied and largely unexplored. Sheriff Joe Lopez, now former sheriff of Falls County, once promised a top-to-bottom investigation. Of course, that went nowhere. And then there's Robertson County DA Coty Siegert, who reviewed the evidence and saw essentially nothing wrong. 3 people eventually indicted, Graham's, Hommel, and Thomas, but here we are 18 months later, and the only thing more persistent than the excuses is the lack of justice. Now the dogs are gone, the damage is done, and if today's secretive court session is any sign, the system still isn't ready to answer for any of it. Meantime, the animal shelter remains closed since January of last year. When will it reopen? Who knows?